Vitamin D is literally nothing short of a miracle. It's a God-given miracle. It's a part of the natural plan. We were designed to be exposed to the sun. Unlike most any dermatologist you will see who will warn you and say, plead with you to stay out of the sun because of their fear of getting a skin cancer, which was most likely, yes, people die from skin cancer, but not many. It's a small fraction, probably less than 1% of the people who die from lack of sun exposure and getting other cancers like prostate and lung and cancer and all these other malignancies. So breast cancers. So the vitamin D, we did not understand or appreciate its full value until this century. Last century, we didn't know. We just knew that it was available and was primarily thought to treat bone diseases like rickets and osteomalacia. But in the late 1990s, the commercial labs became available to actually measure this. So they were able to do studies and they found out, oh my gosh, 95% of people don't have ideal levels of vitamin D. And not only is it good for bone disease, but it's good to reduce the risk of the two biggest killers of the human race, which is heart disease and cancer. And the epidemiological studies show that you reduce all cancers by 50% when you have adequate vitamin D levels. I mean, if that's not almost magical, I don't know what is. Now, the devil's in the details, right, Ty? So the danger that we could have is say, okay, let's just swallow this vitamin D and get our vitamin D levels up. And that is one way you can do it. And in many cases, it's the only way you have, the only practical option. But that's not the ideal way. The ideal way is to follow the natural pattern, which is to go outside with very little clothing. And so obviously you have to be in a very moderate climate, usually subtropical or tropical, at least in the winter, and have the sun shine on your skin, because the sun converts a cholesterol precursor to vitamin D, and then vitamin D gets transferred and converted in your body to active metabolites, where it does its magic. And it affects literally 10% of our genomes. It's called an epigenetic influencer, so it optimizes 10% of our genes. Vitamin D is one of the most profound epigenetic influencers of the genetic code. There's several types of ultraviolet radiation. There's 3 types, UVA, B, and C. C hardly comes down because it's usually filtered from the atmosphere. But UVA and B. UVA is what is really the dangerous one, the one that causes most of the cancers, and UVB is what causes our body to make vitamin D. Well, these sunscreens, they filtered UVB so your body couldn't make vitamin D. You essentially stopped the vitamin D production, and they let UVA right through. So it actually increased the rate of skin cancer. And that's what the studies show. You use sunscreen, you increase the risk of your skin cancer.